Yo, what's up, guys? Uncle Drew here, Leafs Nation 81, and Hot Leafs if you're on the EA forums. I know I haven't brought you guys a video in about a week or so, not nearly as much as I did during the Christmas break, but it's just because school kicked back up. I'm back in university and just been trying to get all my housekeeping stuff and get my classes in order. But I've been sent a lot of messages lately asking me how I like this player, how I like the new Duchesne, how I like my Hot Live Carlson, etc., etc. So I figured I'd bring you guys like a team update, also player review. This is just a quick shout out to Grizzly. I don't know whether he watches these or not when I post them on the general discussion boards, but if you are watching, shout out to you, because I did watch your video when I was starting out in Hut, when you were talking about your 3 favorite players on offense, defense, however you structured it. So I really like that idea, and what I'm going to do is first show you guys how I've structured my team, and then I'll just go over a quick review on each of the players that I've used. What I can do is I've used quite a bit of the players in this game, so if you do request anything, you want to know my feelings on one of the players, you can comment below, or you can suggest I make another video. Anyway, so first I'm going to show you guys the lineup, and then I'm going to go over them. So this is my first line here. Now the only line that's in flux right now for me is my 4th line, just because I'm trying to make it an all actual Leafs Hut Live line, but we haven't had a center yet. Thankfully Bozak had 3 points in last night's Bruins win, so maybe he gets some recognition on that 2nd line or 3rd line for Hut Live and just gets a card worth owning for me. So there's that, and that's my 4th line right now. So I would intend to have Hut Live Lupul, Hut Live Bozak, or whoever gets eventually a center card, and then either JVR or Raymond right there. Okay, so first thing is I made the all milestone line. It did take me a little while to get my hands on them. None of them really came untouched, but I mean, you can't really complain when you have a line like this. I know not everybody has these attainable, but it's still interesting to know what people think of it. So just a quick run through. The milestone Ovechkin, there's nothing I can say besides he's the best player in the entire game. I put a C on him. No matter what player you have, there's nobody faster, rarely anybody more agile, and I mean a 99 shot, it's indescribable after he has the C on him straight away, no matter what it is. And then the biggest thing I noticed with him is now that he has a C on him, his defensive ability is mind-blowing. He could play D on a full strength line, not just a power play, and I would highly recommend, if you do have it, and say you have a Crosby, say you have a Datsuk, no matter what you have, upgrade to this Ovechkin. He's the best card in the game and leads my team in every category. The Datsuk, I've always and will always own a Datsuk. The Winter Classic was great for me, but once I got the milestone and tossed the A on him, the biggest upgrade was absolutely his skating. He's always agile, and his hands are obviously ridiculous, but he's so fast. I mean, what I love about Datsuk is that he may be the only card that keeps up with Ovechkin. He skates stride for stride with him. He's a fantastic playmaker, and he'll surprise you with, although even with the A, his shot is only a 91, he will really surprise you with how good of a slap shot and even a snapshot that he has. So he's been phenomenal. Obviously a great back checker like he is in real life, so that's kind of the reason I have him at center over Crosby. But again, I would highly recommend him. And then for the Crosby, for those of you guys that know me, I've always been adamant I'm not going to own a Crosby. I own a Crosby. I just kind of ran out of players. I mean, I had enough pucks and enough value to get an elite player, and I didn't know who was left to put on my right wing. I had Malkin, a Hot Live one, and I just wanted to change. Nothing against him. He did great things for me. It's just I wanted to change, and I said, why not try the all milestone line? The only thing that really throws me off about him is the fact that he does not keep up with these two. He's agile, he's a good skater, he lays the body, he does everything. His shot's pretty good, but he just does not keep up with Datsuk and Ovi, in my opinion. When I get the puck with him on the wing and just hold that hustle button and push it, he just gets caught. I mean, if a guy has a Bowmeister, if a guy has a Jack Johnson, like, he catches them, and it really has become frustrating for me. But This is me talking from a good player to a great player. Not by no means is he bad. I would never bash Sidney Crosby in that way. It's just my only downfall is that he doesn't really compete with these two. But maybe if I move him to center, he might produce a little bit more just as a playmaker. What I did notice is, say I've had him for, I don't know, 15 games now, he probably averages an assist to 2 every game, strictly because of being on this line. So, I mean, he may work out better at center with these two goal scorers on the wings, but it's just Datsuk's back checking that keeps him there for me. I'll go to the defense in a sec. This guy right here, if you have the pucks and you don't own him, you probably don't have your team set up properly. He's the best center in the game, bar none. The reason I say it over Datsuk is he's not because he's a better player, but he's just more natural of a center. His faceoff's 95. He is good at everything in the game. He back checks, he hits, he skates, he shoots, everything. And if you surround him with goal scorers, this line is going to score a goal at least every single game. And that's what I did. I surrounded him with goal scorers, so I would suggest any version, but if you can get the Hot Live one, go get him. I always have an A on my centers, so putting him to a 90 skate and a 90 shot, it's over for most of the people, especially because he wins every single face-off. So on the left wing, I got player of the game Stamkos. He started out extremely slow. I found no difference between him and the regular Stamkos or the Hot Live Stamkos, but after I tossed him on a line with Taves, and after I started giving him a little bit more looks on offense and trying to get him into the slot, he is probably my second best goal scorer next to Ovi, obviously. And what I've noticed is every time I go into OT or every time I'm late in the game, the puck always seems to end up on his stick, and he always seems to bury it for the game winner. I don't know what it is, whether it's bar down in the top corner, buries it low, breakaway. He just always ends up with the puck on his stick. And he's very similar to Crosby in that his straightaway speed is good. When he gets going, he can definitely hustle. But when he's just not the most agile guy in the world. But, I mean, he's a big dude, so you'd expect that. And then the last one is my newest acquisition. It's the player of the game, Tavares. I actually bought him twice when he first came out and then sold him for more and then had to buy him back for even more because his value has skyrocketed so much. Say you like if you like Rick Nash on your team, he's the next upgrade. Not because they're the same player, but if you're able to use those guys that are kind of a bit more sluggish but have a wicked shot, he's the guy for you. I mean, his hands are better than Nash, his D is better than Nash, and his skating is a little bit better than Nash, but the 89 is deceiving because it's almost like he has 80, even 90 speed in a straightaway, and then he is just so immobile when it comes to side movements. It's almost like he's clunky, but what do you expect out of Tavares? For JT to be successful, you have to have the puck on his stick. He's not just out there to play make for the other guys. He just trails the play, gets the puck on his stick, and puts it in the top corner every time. So, I mean, if you do like a Rick Nash and you want an upgrade, or you do like the regular JT, you definitely need to get him. Because if you are one of those guys that's just good at cycling the puck and just getting it to one guy on his stick and just burying it, he's the dude for you. My third line, this is the most highly coveted player recently. Right there, the Hot Live Duchesne. We have needed him for the entire time in Hut up until now. The reason I tossed him on this line is because I just wanted to have a little bit more fun with the game, in which I put together one of the fastest lines that I could. The only tough decision I had was him versus Hot Live Hall. The only reason I took him was because I've used Hall for so long. He's been great, but I just wanted to try something new, and he has not disappointed. But let's start from the left. Phil Kessel, I'll always own him on my team. His shot is ridiculous. He skates, and he is probably the next best righty after Ovi, Stamkos, Milestone Spezza, and then him. So, as somebody that likes having guys on their off wing, I would suggest using him. He's just good at every facet of the game. And for those of you guys that have played with the better players, you know that 84 check, 85D, doesn't really matter if you hit the guy at the right time, anyone can lay the body. If you use Gretzky, you can knock a guy off his skates, like off his feet, just because you timed it properly. So don't be deceived by his defense or his checking. He is a beast and consistently scores on this line. This guy right here, he's everything you bargained for. Truthfully, when guys buy him and I see 4 games played and selling, I don't know what they're using. I don't know if they have him on their 4th line or if they just misuse him, because he needs to be on everybody's team. The regular Duchesne, I could still put in this position because he's that good, let alone one with a shot like this. I had a play, actually, where there was about 30 seconds left in the game, and all I did was skate just barely over the blue line, and I was about to get lit up, so I had to put it on net, took a snapshot, and on my life, it hit the post, crossbar, and in to win the game. His shot is ridiculous at a 90. His speed is phenomenal. And then now that he hits and he plays defense, I have him on the PK. I just want to put him on everything, because truthfully, he is an unbelievable player and worth every puck you spend. Kane, it's growing on me that the criticism was of Patrick Kane that he gets knocked off the puck really easily. I didn't find that the first time I owned the regular Kane, but now that I own this one, I've really started to notice it. He does get knocked off the puck very easily, but the biggest part of using him is that you need to have him with other playmakers who can just find him in his spots, because if you just try to, circle the offensive zone with Patrick Kane, you're going to get lit up. So I would recommend Patrick Kane only for more highly skilled players. Not saying that I'm the best player in the world, but I mean, you need to know how to use him if you want him on your team. And then for my 4th line, Voracek doesn't really need an explanation. He's there just because he's a lefty that's a right winger. He's solid, gets the job done, and he's holding the spot for when I get the all-leaf line. Kessler, if you are a middle-of-the-road team, middle-of-the-road player, or middle-of-the-road, puck owner, you need to get Hot Live Kessler, because he's probably the best penalty killer, bang for your buck in the game, and probably the best center bang for your buck in the game. He's incredible, and he's just good at everything. Plays defense, wins every face-off, and you need him on your team. Wheeler, a good right-handed shot. He does have a laser. And again, I just wanted somebody on the 4th line that could hold it down, and he does that. But I will likely be upgrading him to a Hot Live Loople. Quickly, let me run through the D. This guy right here, out of everybody, I've used every elite defenseman in this game. He is now my favorite. I'm a Leaf fan. He's wearing the Leaf jersey, has a Leaf logo, and he's a Senator. Doesn't sound right, but you need him on your team. You need him. He scores whenever he feels like it. He is consistently the defenseman getting points on these guys' goals and whoever else. And he will really surprise you with his defense. I mean, 89D, he stick lifts, he poke checks, and he'll lay the body from time to time. So if you put him next, it doesn't have to be Chara, but if you put him next to a guy that can get back on D and just be that big force in the middle, even, obviously, you're not going to spend 400 on your lefty and 50K on your right, but even somebody like a Hot Live Eric Johnson, anybody who it is, just, you should really give them a chance. Because if you get a defensive defenseman with a Hot Live Carlson, I would suggest it 100 times over. Chara, everybody hates on this guy. I don't know why. I mean, he gets the occasional interference penalty, and it does frustrate me, but his shot is ridiculous. The way he holds down the back end is just mind-blowing, and I find that he makes up for your mistakes because you don't have to take the perfect angle to knock a guy off the puck with him. If you brush him, their whole body crumbles and they lose the puck. So I would highly recommend him as well. This pairing here, the thing with the Hot Live Shea Weber is not it's not that he's not good. It's I don't really see the upgrade from the regular Hot Live, the regular Weber. But if you put him with an offensive defenseman, he needs to be in your team because he is he's like a baby Chara, just a little bit more mobile, and I found he's much better offensively, just good at cycling the puck, and he's a lot quicker, so he gets back when he needs to. And the Hot Live Keith, I've had him forever, and I don't see myself moving him anytime soon. He's, again, like a downplayed version of Carlson. My biggest review on him would be that don't believe his 85 shot. He shoots like he has a 90. He buries everything, and he is extremely fast. I don't think I've taken more than a few penalties in my entire time using Hot Live Keith. He's so disciplined and just doesn't trip anybody. So, again, I don't want to make this too long. That's why I'm kind of cutting it short, and I would take messages and comments to be more specific with players, but the Hot Live Keith is definitely somebody you want to get your hands on. And then this is my favorite pairing in the game. No matter what happens, I cannot lose these two. Montreal and Toronto, it doesn't even matter. This is probably my favorite defenseman in the entire game. Not the best, because I still reserve that for Carlson, but my favorite because he's just a beast. And look at his stats. I mean, he does everything you need him to do. And he's PK Subban. I mean, he's a boss in himself, so I'll take that. And this is just me giving my little 2 cents to the Canadian team. Don't make him your fourth lefty. He needs to be on the ice. He's a superstar, and I love the guy. And then him right there. Again, you need him on your team. You don't. The big thing with Phenoms is I found he only really produced when he played next to Subban, because they're so similar in ability that they just complement each other so well. But if you have about 90K or whatever he has to spend, he can be your best defenseman. I can only imagine those guys that like putting C's and A's on their D. With him with a C, I mean 90, 89, 89, 93, 88. It's as good as any defenseman in the game, so you should try it out. Just quickly, I wanted to give, if I was to give my 3 best, and the 3 that I would probably move, or at least the one I would probably move. My favorite player is bar none, the Ovechkin. My second favorite would be the Johnny Taves. And if I was to give you my third, it's a toss-up between Duchesne and Datsuk. I'm going to give it to Duchesne just because Datsuk is a given. Like, he's such a good player. But this Duchesne, I know he's gone up in value, but trade for him. Do something. Get your hands on this guy, because he is incredible and needs to be a part of your team. If I was to move one guy, it's him right there. Not because, well, I mean Crosby, but not because of anything outside of his inability to keep up with the rest of the elite players on my team. I mean, on the on the power play, I have him on the point, so he's pretty successful, but in full strength, these guys just outskate him, and he's always scoring goals by trailing the play, which isn't a bad thing, but sometimes you like to cross it and see that he's there. So if I was to drop one guy, that would be him. From here, my favorite would be Subban, the best being Carlson, and if I was to drop one guy, it would be the Weber. But I just want to make note that Milestone Chara will be on my team soon, so he's going right here. He needs to be on my team. As far as goalies, I tried 2 new ones. I tried the Hot Live Ryan Miller. He's one of those goalies that's just getting wins but letting in 4 or 5 goals. I'm scoring 7 or 8, so I can't ever recommend a goalie. The only goalie I can recommend is Jonas Hiller right here. But I'm going to get the Hot Live version, and he will be my goalie for good. So Jonas Hiller, get him on your team. He's a superstar. He's the only goalie I can truly vouch for. And then the backup one that I got was Hot Live Brian Elliott. Went to my high school. Always just had that little alumni feel for it. So he's been okay. He's one of those weak goalies, and it just frustrates me sometimes. But yeah, so I know this video is a little bit long, but I just wanted to give you guys how I feel about my team and a team update. As far as my record, I mean, it's D1. I've played it a couple times over, so I've won it a few times. But I mean, you're gonna get losses when you're in D1. I'm not one of those guys that can go 505. I just can't do it. So thanks again for watching, guys. And if you have any questions, either comment, subscribe if you haven't, and if you're on the forums, feel free to message me whenever you like. Take care, guys, and have a good day.